welcome you to the show.
Hi there, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bob Spaz, your host, and today I have a special guest. He is a spiritual coach, Jared. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you, Quantum Babs, and hello, gorgeous souls.
What does a spiritual coach do?
I work with people on such energetic levels, working through transitions. You know, we're all experiencing globally right now this time of transition in our world. And there's a lot of people questioning what's next, or what do I want next? How can I let go of the programming of the past and create whatever it is that I want to do next? And a lot of that work is going within, connecting with the heart space, and pulling those answers out for yourself. So a lot of what I do is hold space. I create a mirror for people to look into and extract the important questions to allow people to move forward in their life in the most benevolent and prosperous ways.
In order to work with that, you have to be a person with a lot of sensibility. Where did it all begin? What's your life story?
The life story of sensibility. Well, I think my journey really begins when I was about 6 years old. I had lost my father to the AIDS virus. He got sick when I was 2 and passed away when I was 6. So the formative years of my childhood were spent watching my father get essentially eaten alive by this virus that was running rampant on our world at that time. Flash forward, I was raised, had an awesome mother who did her best job and provided me with an amazing lifestyle. But for me, my coping mechanism was always money. I had my first business when I was 7 years old, and it was just about everything that I could do to make $1. I was selling Beanie Babies back in the day, selling juice boxes and candy bars at school. And looking back on that journey of clinging to money, it was very much my coping mechanism. It was me avoiding the emotions of understanding how to process the death of my father. And so it was always me looking outside of myself of, I will be happy when the next material object comes my way, when I have more money in my life. And so I followed a pretty conventional path. I went to a really kind of world-renowned university, got my degree in business and marketing. Upon graduation, I got a job, a really good job right out of school with a startup in Los Angeles. I'm from the Midwest of the United States, in Chicago, and this company moved me to Los Angeles, California. About 9 months into that job, I was doing very good. I was very successful. I was the top 10% of the company. Helped them build new division. I came into work one day, like I said, 9 months in, and I just hit burnout. I got to my desk that day and my cubicle felt smaller than ever. The work was not fulfilling. And I just started really questioning of like, is this really what I want to be doing for the next 40, 50 years of my life? How much of my time do I really want to sacrifice for other people's dreams? And so this question came up in my head of like, well, what does retirement look like if I were to retire now? At 21 years old, how could I retire? What would life look like? And so I became obsessed with this. And for one, the first thing was, well, I don't want to wake up to an alarm clock anymore. Okay, how can I figure that out? I want to be able to get in the ocean and surf every day. Surfing for me was and still is one of the most spiritual outlets I've ever found. And so out of all places for the universe to lead me, upon quitting that job, I decided to leave that job and put it up to the universe and just trust whatever's next. And out of all places to be led, I was led to Malibu, California, which for those of you, if you're not familiar, Malibu is home to our world's rich and famous. And for every day for years, I was connecting and networking with celebrities and very successful people. And for me, it was the biggest lessons in my life of pulling back that curtain of money's not going to make me happy. Of here's the people who have it all. Here's the people who have the most money, and they're no happier than the rest.
Money doesn't make you happy or unhappy.
It's a product. It's just an exchange. It provides to a certain threshold. But at that early age, I had built my entire identity around money making me happy. And so for it to kind of remove that, I became left with this idea of like, okay, so what is it? What is purpose? who am I in this world? And so I decided to take 3 months off, and I backpacked all around Europe and did an amazing 20-something-year-old European backpacking trip, traveling to different cities and partying and meeting amazing people and opening my mind to new cultures. And then I came back and I worked a little bit, and then I heard the calling again. It was time to take more time. I needed to keep doing this soul searching. I felt this need that I needed to take 6 months this time. And so I took 6 months off, and I found myself in Thailand and in Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore. And the last minute, I decided I need to go to India. I was in Indonesia looking at a world map of where to go, and I saw India, and nothing else in the world called to me like India did. So I figured out how to get my visa, and I booked myself into a 30-day, 200-hour yoga teacher training in India, studying under yogis there. And I thought the whole time, okay, I'm going to bring these tools, these Eastern healing modalities, back to the West, back to the States. I'm going to teach yoga and share. And I said the universe had something very different in store for me. I was driving home from work. I was home from India for 2 weeks, and I was driving home from work one night, and I was involved in a car accident that broke both of my legs, left me with scarring all over my body, and all the trauma of my childhood, everything that I had been avoiding my whole life, I was faced to sit with it. So for 1 year, I was stuck in my bed with nothing but the tools that I had just learned in India. That's why I went to India, was to gain these tools, to go within, to connect to the breath, to do meditation, to connect with the body. So
it was a preparation for you to get into this situation. It was the universe supports you, has your back. Otherwise, you wouldn't have learned all those tools to use in this situation.
I really feel that now, that if I would have not gone to India first, I would have not survived this life-changing, this near-death experience that I went through. That yes, the universe or God or spirit, whatever you want to refer to it as, knew that this was going to happen, knew that this was coming in the future. And they said, here you are, child. Here's some ways that you're going to get through it and become so much stronger because of it.
Yeah, it was maktub. It was written in the stars. I believe that before we come here to Earth, we make our life plan. Maybe you asked for it.
Oh, absolutely. And we can get to that piece in a minute, of this piece of gratitude, of looking back on the hardest things you've been through and finding the gratitude of, why did I need to experience it? What was there for me in the darkest moments? And that's it. It was written. I was here to have these experiences. That's why I've been brought forth. A year spent in my bed, going within. And as soon as I was well enough to walk again, the universe, I don't even remember the steps I took to get there, but I found myself in the Andes Mountains of Ecuador, and I booked myself into a 12-day, 5-ceremony shamanic healing retreat center. This is where I was first exposed to working with sacred plant medicine, to studying under indigenous cultures, to learning what shamanism is, to what it is to connect back to source, connect to self, connect back with Mother Earth. It was my second ceremony that everything came to the front. It was about a 20-hour ceremony. It was the hardest night of my entire life, and it was the most freeing at the same time. I spent 20 hours purging and crying, vomiting up stored emotion, and connecting back with the death of my dad, and learning the emotions that were really there, not the emotions that my brain thought that I was feeling, the emotions that were so stored that I never knew how to process as a child. And I got the opportunity to release them and to connect with my father, who became and is one of my angel guides now. And I had to relive my car accident and go back to all the lessons that came from that. And again, it was the hardest night of my entire life, but it was the most freeing. And so after that night, I went to the owner of the center, and I just said, I have to be a part of this. I have so much more work to do on myself. I need to learn how to be here and hold space and support and guide others. So she said, come back in 3 months and you can live here. And so I sold all my belongings down to just a little backpack. I came back to Europe for a few months and traveled around again. And then I moved my life to this healing center, where I soon became a manager. And every day for about 6 months, I got to witness magic and miracles happen. We would get 40 guests from all over the world, from all walks of life, with every ailment, every disease, every trauma, every addiction would come here. And I got to watch as the vast majority of these people would gain new tools on how to connect with themselves and heal themselves in a whole different way. Absolutely amazing work. It was the best time of my entire life.
So inspiring. So you've moved back and you lived there for 6 months. I can't believe that your marketing and sales skills were, and why did you move away from there?
It's just listening to your life's path of trusting. You know, it was 24 hours a day of holding space, of facilitating, of putting on these retreats. And it was the most amazing, but the most draining work. After 6 months, I just was called and I moved myself to the coast of Ecuador. I didn't leave Ecuador right away. And I rented a little house for 6 months in this little fishing village. And I connected back with the ocean and surfed every day and spent a lot of time processing and downloading and integrating what it was that I had just learned and did in the mountains of Ecuador. And then after those 6 months, same thing. I just felt called that my time in Ecuador was coming to a close, that my time studying at that point in time in my life, it was time to go bring these tools to the world. And so out of all places to come to, I didn't think I'd ever return to the United States. I thought I was done. But I came to where I am now, San Diego, just kind of like on a whim. A friend invited me to come stay here until I figured out where to go next. And the day that I got here, I was home. I made the conscious decision to plant and to start building what is now my business, Sparks of Consciousness, and to bring these tools and these gifts and these offerings to the world. And that's where I am today. Happier than ever, doing my work, serving as many people as I can, connecting with like-minded humans from across the world.
Do you still work with plant medicine?
Here and there, you know, I have this saying that these plant medicine has its own consciousness, and it calls you when you need it to. It will reach out in the best of ways. And so when I left Ecuador, I did not work with plant medicine for a handful of years. And one day I felt called that I could use a little ceremony. I could use a little reconnection. This is about a year ago now. And a week later, it showed up. It showed up in my life in the most perfect way. And it has led me to, I have facilitated retreats now, bringing these tools to others, sharing these gifts, but in a very organic way. It's not a big piece of my business right now. It's more of when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the teacher is ready, the students appear. Plant medicine is a part of my life, but not on a regular basis. It's there and accessible when I need it to. And I think that's important to bring up when you start working in that space of this isn't something, in my opinion, to become dependent on. It's not the next thing to numb with. It's you work with this, you gain the tools that you need, and then you go live it. You need to take your practice, like in yoga. We go to the studio and we practice on our yoga mat. But the whole point of that is to do this practice so then you can apply these tools to the world around you. It's like going to church. Go to church on the weekend if religion is your path. But the real work is stepping out into the world and applying that. And to me, that's what's so important about ceremony. Of you go to ceremony and you recharge up and you connect back, but then you go apply it to your life.
Now, could you please tell my audience what it is, plant medicine? Somebody who has never heard about it, what are they talking about? What is this? Is it a new salad dish? Please.
Yeah, so plant medicine, it's in its name. There are sacred plants. You know, plant medicine is such a vague term that plants are medicine. All plants are medicine that we can heal. The plant medicine that we're referring to in this context are ancient psychedelics. They're plants that create a psychedelic experience, but when you use them with intention, when you're in a space that puts you in a state of receiving and not just partying with friends, when you're there very present, especially working with a shaman who is trained for this knowledge has been passed down for generations. And so what these plants do is they connect you back to self. And it's not always in the most pleasant of ways. The way that I describe it is we have a lifetime of traumas, and a lot of us, especially in the Western world, we get very comfortable putting Band-Aids over things. And when we put band-aids over things, the real wounds don't heal. We just keep masking them. We just keep putting a band-aid over them. And what happens when you work with plant medicine is it rips those band-aids off, and it makes you face the hardest things that you've been avoiding your entire life. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's fun. It's not for enjoyment, it's for healing. It's to really connect back to your soul, to heal that inner child. So many of us are walking around with a wounded inner child. To me, that's a reflection of why our world is in the state that it's in. We have a bunch of wounded children running our world. And if we can go and start healing it at the source, if we can start connecting back to Mother Earth, these are what the plants do, is they connect us back to something that is so much bigger and so much more powerful than ourself and our ego mind.
It's not only shadow work, it opens your senses, it opens your mediunity, so you can get in contact with the spirits. We are spirits, we are all spirits, but we are spirits here incarnated in earth. We have a body. When you use plant medicine, you can get in contact with the spirits that are no longer in the physical realm. You can get in contact with ETs, you can get in contact with other dimensions. And it's not only the shadow work. Sometimes you have access to knowledge that we don't have here in an ordinary day-by-day life. This process that you have in 3 weeks, that you lead people to find their life purpose.
Yeah, so I host a monthly workshop, and it meets once a week for 2 hours a week for 3 weeks. Currently, it is called The Art of Living Your Dreams. So very not connected to the plant medicine space, but very much connected to the healing and the inner work and uncovering what your dreams are. I believe that we have really, back on the words of inner child, of as children, we're so connected to this magical world. We're filled with dreams. And at some point, these words, society has made us feel like we need to be realistic or get a job or grow up. And these are very damaging words that a lot of us have heard, and it has cut us off from our dreams. And our dreams are portals. Our dreams are gateways into what we're really meant to be doing on this earth. We are this spiritual being. We are this soul that is here to fulfill a mission, so to say. And our mission is, how are we here to serve? How are we here to support one another? So over the course of the 3 weeks, what we do is we break this down into very digestible concepts. It all begins with your thoughts. Your thoughts create things. That is what I emphasize more than everything. Is like if you can change the power of your thinking, you can change the power of your reality and see a whole new world and start creating the world that you're meant to or wanting to live in. So we discuss your thoughts. We go into your belief systems. What's holding you back? What do you believe about the world around you? How can we refine and make a stronger connection with your instincts? What does faith mean? How do you start taking action on your dreams? So many people think that my dreams are so far outside of myself and so hard to attain, but really it's breaking it down into little tiny baby steps. So we dive into all these topics and we create a whole packaged kind of journal for you to take with you at the end, for you to really start acting on your dreams. And as you go through this process, you start learning and understanding that there is no dream too big. Everything in our world right now, this technology that we're connected on right now, what a perfect example. This started in somebody's mind. Who would have thought 30 years ago that we could be, somebody in Holland and myself in California, and all this tech that's happening for us to connect right now.
People from all over the world are going to watch our video together. But absolutely. I really believe that we are here for more than just working in a 8-hour job that we don't like for 5 days a week, and then for years and years, and just once a year you go to vacations. And no, we are here for much more than that. We are here to fulfill our dreams, to evolve, to become the best version of ourselves. But we forget that we are so sleeping in this world that we don't even remember the plans that we've made before we came here to Earth. And we are over and over again having the same thoughts. And like a cow that eats the grass and and swallows and then comes back and then chews again. We are always having the same thoughts every day. And some people are obsessed by their thoughts. They don't know that they are in charge. We have to qualify our thoughts. Is this useful? Is this not useful? Is this negative? Is this positive? We have to detach and look at ourselves. This is Barbara having a thought. What thought is this? Is it good for her or not? So we can choose how to think. And when we think about something, if I think about an elephant and somebody really sensible comes here, they can see the elephant in the air, because thoughts are things. Thoughts have energy, and the more we feed our thoughts, the more they come to life. They are very powerful, and every tall building has begun with a thought and then with a small brick. We can really build worlds. We are co-creators of this universe. We have the power to create amazing things, but we are sleeping like a baby. We don't know that we can do that much.
You say so many gold nuggets there. That's just pure truth. And I think that I have such faith and hope, and I feel it in our world that people aren't sleeping anymore. Anybody who's watching this from here on out, for time on, if you're watching this, you are not sleeping, because you have been drawn to this kind of material, because you are questioning old societal frameworks, and that's all that you need to start doing. There is nothing more that you need to do other than just what you said, this practice of mindfulness, of remove yourself from this constant loop in your head. I say drop out of your head and drop into your heart. Start hearing what this brain in your chest has to say way more than this brain up in your head has to say. And that's it. Everything will unfold from there for you in the most divine ways. And a lot of people are starting to understand that. A lot of people are questioning that the life that we've been sold from the outside that is not serving or fulfilling us anymore. And it fills me with so much hope and optimism moving forward that we are progressing into this new age where people will be so much more aligned with their soul purpose. And what a beautiful world it is and will continue to be the more that people start doing this inner work.
I agree with you, Jared. People are awakening, and what a wonderful time to be alive. What an exciting time to be alive, to be a part of this world transformation, to help, to change, to wake more people, to give that kiss that will bring Cinderella back to life and to see things.
I'm on all social media, Sparks of Consciousness. My name is Jared Schuster. That's where you can find me on Facebook. But most importantly, my website. That's where I love connecting with people. That's where you can find information about my offerings. Like I said, I do the 3-week workshop. I have a self-guided course where I'll teach you all about the alchemy behind manifestation. I have different downloads and meditations. I'll meet you wherever that you're at and ready to receive in this process. I'm here to hold your hand and guide you to awakening to your highest self. So my website is www.sparksofconsciousness.com.
Thanks so much for being here. Please like this video if you learned something, if you found it interesting, and watch my next video here.